What's going on, everybody? This is Nick, and I am Sports Guy on the mic, and this is episode 2. So everybody has something that they're obsessed with, and for me, it's sports. And I cannot remember a time where I did not have sports going on in my life, whether that be me playing ball or me checking scores, just trying to see what's going on with some of the games that's going on. So my favorite football teams were, so I grew up in the state of Alabama. And, so I know you guys probably hear a ton of stories about like, when you're in Alabama, it's Alabama Auburn, one of the two. And that I'm here to tell y'all that stuff is real. So yeah, I had to choose early. My dad is a big Alabama fan, and so I kind of got put onto that train, and I adapted that, and I feel like I chose the right side. So, that's just my opinion. But, growing up down there, you grew up around sports a whole lot. And so, I am a big Alabama fan. But some of the other teams that I grew up liking, you know, um, when I was young, I was a real big Kobe and Shaq fan. I love the Lakers, man. Kobe was my favorite basketball player growing up, and how I got onto that, I think, so back in the day, I'm showing my age, I guess. I don't feel like I'm that old, to be honest with you, but the video store was a thing. So you used to go to the video store, and when me and my brother, my brothers used to go, like, my mom used to like, yo, you can pick out one movie and one video game. So, we would pick our movie out, and I was going to pick a game, and just quick story. Like I saw this guy with an afro and on the cover of this video game, and I was like, yo, I'm about to get this. So got it home and playing the game. So I decided to play with the team that the guy was on the cover with the afro, and that ended up being Kobe. So that's kind of how. Honestly, that's kind of how I became a Lakers fan and a Kobe fan, was just because of that video game when I was in the second grade. But I followed basketball. But the only thing back then that I knew, to be honest with you, with NBA ball was like Michael Jordan. I knew Michael Jordan played with Bugs Bunny in Space Jam. So, that's kind of the extent of NBA ball that I knew. But yeah, that kind of put me in a whole different, level of like introduction to the game, playing that video game with Kobe on it. So, yeah, so I was a big Lakers fan. So Alabama Lakers. I growing up down there in Alabama, I was a Braves fan, so I followed the Braves. NFL was kind of, a thing where we didn't have a whole lot of NFL going on in our state. So, I used to watch Randy Moss and the Vikings. I was a big Vikings fan. I just liked how Randy played, and I kind of like Michael Vick a little bit too in the Falcons, but he got in trouble and all that kind of stuff. So later on, as I got older, he got in trouble. So yeah, so and then my fourth grade teacher was a huge Titans fan, so she put us on the Titans when they had just came to Nashville, and so I kind of followed the Titans that year in the fourth grade. So that was kind of cool to see them go to the Super Bowl. So I kind of bounced around with NFL teams. I never had a set one, but now that I live here in Nashville, Nashville area, I am a Titans fan, and I have adopted them. So I'm a proud Titans fan, even though we're not that good right now, but we're getting there. I hope we're getting there. So those are some memories I have growing up as a sports fan, and kind of what made me fall in love with sports, and just following those teams and following the stories. That was kind of fun watching the Lakers win. Three-peat championships at that young age. That was cool, and of course, my Alabama team didn't win championships that I could remember until I got into high school and college, and so that was fun. And hopefully, we continue to win a lot of games. I know we got a new coach, but and we're doing okay. I think he's doing an okay job. But yes, so So why sports are so different to me, the competition, the storylines, the upsets, and just the events that bring everyone together. You know, sports is one of those things that that will bring people together. For instance, you cannot be a fan of football, right? And at the end of the year, of course, you got the Super Bowl at the end of the year, so everybody becomes a fan during Super Bowl time, right? So even if your team is not in the Super Bowl, you got to pick one, to cheer for, or you might be in it just to watch the halftime show, to be honest with you. But at the end of the day, you're still there together with a group of people, or whether it be with your family or whatever the case is. It just brings people together. So that's the unique part of like sports to me, is like, you know a way to connect with people. You can be in a bar with random people and just decide, like, that's your best friend for that 2 hours, because y'all cheering for the same team. So it is different, to find a way to connect with people through sports, and I think that's pretty cool. But for me, fantasy football changed a lot uh coming into the NFL aspect of it. Like, again, I told you guys I was a big Randy Moss fan, Vikings fan, Falcons, all that, but I didn't follow NFL ball like that, to be honest with you. It was just kind of something that, you follow a few players and that's cool, and, whatever. But when I started playing fantasy football, you start have to kind of like dig deeper into the NFL. And anyone that plays fantasy knows what I'm talking about. So you'll find yourself watching some random game that you don't care about either team, but you got a kicker on that team that you need 10 points, and to win a fantasy game, and that kicker can get it for you. So that's why you're watching it. So fantasy football really changed it for me. Like, it made me lock in and learn all the teams and the different players on the teams to give me edge on, like, how I can win my fantasy league. So fantasy football changed everything for me. um, but you know, joining my first league, um, I remember my first time playing fantasy football. I didn't win it, and going into that year, the first year of the fantasy league, I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna win this, no doubt." And I didn't win it, and I was like, "Okay, you know, I, I really wanted to win. I'm a competitive person, and I just like to win." So the next year, I locked in, and I tried to figure it out. And I think it was ended up being my third year playing. I actually won my first fantasy league, and for those of you that have never won a fantasy league, it is a great feeling. So the ones that have won it know what I'm talking about. So fantasy winning the fantasy football league is a really cool high that you get. So I think with my league that I run, I have won it multiple times. So I can brag a little bit that I got multiple championships in fantasy. So I trash talk, and in the league that I got, we all trash talk. So when we win, we let everybody know. So that's always fun. So um and then and then I kind of got tied into a little bit of sports betting a little bit, and how that started for me. Um, to be honest with you, I really don't even know how I got into sports betting, to be honest with you. But I guess it's just because I watch sports so much that I decide, like, to me, if you're gonna watch something that much, if you're gonna spend that much time invested in something, then why not try to make a little bit of money doing it while you're watching it? So when I found out there was a way you could make money watching sports, I was like, yo, okay, let me see what that's about. So I try to do it responsibly, of course, and it's fun to I found it really interesting to kind of see the lines that's out there, how Vegas set these lines so spot on. It's very crazy to me how close they get to all of this stuff. But so yeah, I most definitely partake in that a little bit, and like I said, I try to do it responsibly. But and why I share my picks with you guys is just because I just want to see how close I can, you know, you know, see how close I can be with predicting these games right throughout the season. So I'll share my picks and kind of see how close I can get with do I have a winning record or a losing record? And you guys can tell me like, yo, Nick, you're not good at this. You should stop. And I probably won't listen to you guys, but it'll be fun just to kind of keep up with that kind of stuff, and maybe you guys can help me be on the positive side this year on my sports bets. I wonder what got you guys into sports. Like, was there some stories that kind of got you linked up into sports? Something that you guys, whether that been on your t-ball team, soccer team as when you were young, or swim team, whatever it is. What got you guys linked up to sports? I told you guys what got me into it, and that kind of is my journey on kind of how I got into this spot and why I love it so much. But yeah, you guys let me know what got you into it. So anyway, guys, that's it for me. This is Sports Guy on the Mic. I'm Nick again, and you guys make sure you go follow me on social media. I have those links for you guys below in the description, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.